Hey everybody, hope you're having a good day. In this vlog, I want to talk about how it's very hard to find faithful people nowadays, and I think that's because people now they chase after fame, after riches, and things that don't really eternally matter, things that are actually temporary. So I just really want to talk in this vlog about what it means, or how can one stay faithful to who God wants him to be and what God is calling him to be. And it's a difficult thing. Nothing is really easy in this world, but there are some things that a person can do to stay faithful, and that's really what God wants in your ministry, in your business, in your school, in your relationships. It's not really, being successful or being famous or all the worldly definitions of being successful. For us, for Christians, faithfulness is our success. Faithfulness to God, faithfulness to His purpose in our lives. That's what it means to be successful. So I have this favorite artist, and he puts out really unique sound. He's a Christian artist, and there was this conference in which he was a part of, together with Shane and all that, Ben Stewart, and he was part of the panel. It was a Q&A, and forgot what the question was, but he shared there a phrase or a sentence, just 3 words that really resonated with me, and right now it's like my life motto: faithful beats famous. And during that panel, he shared his story, how before he was writing really nice songs. I think he put out more than 3 or 4 albums already, but then God called him to full-time ministry, to pastor a church, a small church in his town. And he confessed there that there were times that he felt jealous or envious about his friends who were putting out albums, and those albums or songs were rated top 10 or stuff like that, or getting all these awards and getting all this recognition and all that. He confessed that he sometimes feel envious about that. But then those 3 words stuck to him, and somehow that was God's message to him: faithful beats famous. And when I was listening to that, I felt like God was telling me the same, that faithful beats famous, faithful beats anything. Faithful beats being rich, faithful beats being successful, as the world would define it. So how can we stay faithful? How can you stay faithful in who God wants you to be and what God has called you to do? So the first thing is, I think that it's very important that you make sure what God's calling for you is. Because once you know that, once you've sought the Lord and He's given you His word, you have a firm foundation to stand upon, so that when times will always get rough, it will always be challenging, there will always be trials. When those times come, you have a word to stand on. You're standing on solid ground. You're standing on firm ground. You have an anchor that is sure and secure. So it's very important that you seek after God. Ask the Lord, what is it that you want me to do? Is this what you want me to do? Lord, what is your call for my life? What is your will for my life? We have this group chat with the pastors of Living Word, and in there it's just a lot of stories, testimonies, and even prayer requests. Just a place online where pastors can pour their hearts out and even give encouragement. And it's been quite a joy being a part of that group chat, and even being firsthand in the announcements of the church, so we can pray for it. So it's very important that you find your flock, you find your group chat where you can just pour out your heart, ask for prayer requests, and support each other. I mean, if you're a musician, find musicians who will be able to support you. If you're it only makes sense that you go with people who do what you do. I mean, if you're a basketball player, you wouldn't go with soccer players, you would go with basketball players. Same thing. I think that's very important. Encouragement is very important, and birds that flock together, birds that fly together, flock together, birds of the same feather flock together. There it is. And that just keeps you faithful, that just keeps you grounded, that keeps your feet on the ground, and keeps you moving, keeps you running in whatever God has called you to do. So go find your group chat, go find your group and stay there. Introduce yourself if you're new, and just find the community. Thirdly, of course, we need to always be connected to the source. I'm here with the plants of my mom, and I think plants are a perfect analogy of staying rooted. I mean, if you uproot a plant, it's good as dead. But the richer the soil, the deeper the roots go, the more beautiful the plant gets, the more it grows healthy, especially if you really take care of it, put water and all the nutrients, put it out where sunlight can touch it. The same thing with our life. The more we're rooted to the source, which is God, His Word, prayer, fellowship, all that stuff, the more we can be faithful, the more that we grow, the more that we become strong, and the more that we are able to do what He is calling us to do. So let's stay rooted, let's be like plants, and let's stay rooted to the source, because the moment that we uproot ourselves, we're good as dead. And lastly, this is as simple as it can get. Just do it. Just do what God has called you to do. Sometimes laziness just overwhelms us. Mediocrity just overwhelms us. Procrastination just overwhelms us. But if we have done those 3 steps, which are not in order, but if we've done those, then we would have the strength we would have the strength and the resources to be faithful to what God has called us to do. So the only question now is, will you do it? You have all the resources, but will you go? Will you walk? Will you run? Will you live this life? Will you do the thing that God has been calling you to do? Will you be faithful to His call? Will you be faithful to do His will over your will? So just do it. Simple as that. Just be faithful, because you have all these resources. God has given us, grace upon grace. God has given us every spiritual blessing for us to glorify Him in this life. The last thing that I want to say that I believe is as equally important as all the other things that I've said earlier is to take a break. Make sure that, you segregate a day or 2 in a week where you're having a rest day or a Sabbath day. Like for us, me and my family, from Tuesday all the way to Sunday, we're basically in church. We're basically doing ministry. We have Bible studies, prayer meetings, and rehearsals for worship. And then on Sunday, we're basically there the whole day in church. But Monday is a rest day. We really try as much as possible to not think about ministry, and get to spend time with each other. We usually go to SMC side and have coffee and just really take a rest, and sometimes we even spend time with family. But Monday is just really our rest day. As much as possible, we don't do ministry. So find a day in your week or 2 where it's really just dedicated as your rest day. Of course, in case of emergencies, but really schedule that as your rest day. And having rests is really gonna make you go a long way. Having said all that, I want to end this video by saying God rewards those who are faithful to Him. God rewards faithfulness. Maybe in the next life, it may be in this life, but He definitely rewards those who are faithful to Him. Are you faithful to God? Are you faithful to what He's called you to do? Are you faithful to who He wants you to be? Remember, faithful beats famous.